TV.
You say Focal Online TV?
Focal Online TV is located within a Tobo Village community along the Japanese Highway.
Tell me more about the platform.
This platform, called Focal Online TV Daily Edition of Inside the Print Media, does not encourage any form of dialogue between the viewers and the presenters.
Oh, you mean nobody calling there?
No, you can't call on a show. Let me talking out like when we're no calling there. So all you can do is you will listen to the news, and they can also encourage you to buy the newspaper to listen to the news in details.
But do you do viewer recognition at times?
Oh yes, we do viewer recognition. When you are watching, we notify you, and sometimes we even appreciate you on a show, telling you thank you for always following us. We also encourage you to share the live stream, because the more you share the live stream, we transform and we transition ourselves as a broadcast team as well.
Wow. So when can I better get this program you are talking about?
This program is aired every Monday to Friday at 10 a.m. to 10:45. The program runs for 45 minutes.
Wow.
And guess what?
Wow.
We bring you hot stories of our trending situation within our country, Liberia. Imagine hearing stories from Hot Pepper newspaper, from the Daily Observer newspaper, from Front Page Africa. Are you a lover of Front Page Africa?
Oh yes, I'm a lover of
Front Page Africa, and the Women Voices, and a lot more. Not forgetting international news, BBC,
Wow.
CNN, ABC News. We bring you headlines from those standpoints.
Wow, that is very, very, very amazing.
So we say, join us every day on the daily edition of Inside the Print Media at 10 a.m. with the headlines of top stories in our country and the world at large on Focal Online TV.
Fellow Liberians, it's actually a pleasure to be here to bring you the program Inside the Print Media. My name is K. Lyndon Choba, and we are here to bring you the content of those newspapers we have in our possession for today. So, like I said, we have the Front Page Africa newspaper, we have the Hot Pepper newspaper, we have the Daily Observer newspaper, and lastly, we have the New Dawn newspaper. So let's take a short break. When we come back, we begin giving you the headlines of all of those newspapers I read out to you.
Hello dear, my name is K. Lyndon Toba. I'm in search of a platform where I can get credible information of our daily happenings in Liberia and the world at large.
Hello, Lyndon Topa. My name is
Okay, folks, welcome back again. For those of you who are watching, keep sharing our live video and sticking still with Focal Online TV, because we are about to bring you information about Liberia and Africa as a whole. So let's go over to Front Page Africa newspaper. 10 fear dead after being trapped in a mudslide at an artisanal mine in Riverside County. 10 fear dead after being trapped in a mudslide at an artisanal mine in Riverside County. Residents of Chiotown woke up early morning to the news of a mudslide that occurred at an artisanal mine on the outskirts of the town about 11 p.m. Monday. Local authorities in Riverside confirmed the death of at least 10 persons so far, but family members are still in search of their missing relative. We were told that there were more people on the number, and that has been discovered. Arcee Williams, Riverside County Information Officer, told Front Page Africa. As we speak, there are people searching for their relatives. Family members are searching for their missing relative. According to Williams, the incident occurred when some members of the area had gone to an abandoned mine to do what they call daily hustle. William says when they discovered that there was a deposit of gold in the mine, the information spread and illegal miners started trooping in. He said from the onset, joint securities in the country tried regulating movement of people in the area, but were overpowered. All locals say that there were more than 30 people on the ground when the incident occurred. Volunteer rescuers were using shovels and decals to search for additional bodies, but authorities they say it is becoming more dangerous as there are no excavator. More than 30 people were underground when the incident occurred. At least 7 of the victims been properly identified. Among those identified are Tadit Chapi, a resident of Chultan, Rachel Bayogard of Chalitan, Edwin Dennis of Paman, Alfred Dayud of Gofatan, and Paul Zaid of Bazoga, among others. The bodies that have been turned over to their immediate relative. This is a developing story and it is done in collaboration with a news narrative. With this being said, this is how we move over to another headlines on the front page Africa newspaper. LACC to investigate several at Nokai over alleged involvement in money laundering. LACC to investigate several at Nokai over alleged involvement in money laundering. The National Oil Company finds itself embroiled into a scandal as the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission launches an investigation into allegations of money laundering and corruption within the company's administration. The investigation stemming from events allegedly occurred between July 15 to 21, 2023, centers around accusation of collusion between local officials and the BMC Group Incorporated to launder funds through Sapele International Bank Liberia Limited. According to the LCC letter of request addressed to Honorable Jaka Kobayu, officers in charge of NOCAD, the administration is accused of conspiring with BMC Group Incorporated to open an account at SIB for the purpose of illicit money laundering. Subsequently, on July 17, 2023, NOCAD management purportedly checked an amount of $728,464 for the 2 cents to BMC Group Incorporated, which was promptly deposited in the newly established account. The funds, the letter alleges, were withdrawn within a week and remain unaccounted for. In response to this grave allegation, the LACC has demanded the appearance of several key officials at NOCAD for investigation at its headquarters. Those summons include Timothy Kwadajari, Yeke Giflo, Ewina Bashu, Owen Gray, Estina Masale. They are instructed to appear with their legal counsel and all relevant documentation to support their testimony. The LACC request for cooperation underscores the seriousness with which Liberia anti-corruption authorities are approaching the investigation. The outcome of the probe could have far-reaching the implication for local reputations and the broader fight against corruption in the country. As the investigation unfolds, stakeholders await further development and hope for the transparency, accountability, and justice to prevail in the face of these troubling allegations. With this being said, this is how we move over to the Hot Pepper newspaper. Commissioner Ye begins official duties at Lima. Commissioner Ye begins official duties at Lima. The Liberia Maritime Authority family on Wednesday, March 20, 2024, at the corporate headquarters of the institution welcomed Councillor Nito Zaza led as its new commissioner CEO at a very brief ceremony. In the Susan remark, Commissioner CEO led dedicated that he has taken on his new task to work in the country's interest and to build what he has just inherited. He emphasized that this is a dynamic person, a man of action, and one who expects results and not a man of many words. He pointed out that his administration will require professionalism, hard work, respect, and punctuality but nothing based on mere friendship. He further emphasized that developing and maintaining a professional behavior would be an essential factor in attaining success during his administration. The way we conduct ourselves, relate to one another, and approach our tasks all amounts to professionalism, the new commissioner added. Commissioner Laird then thanked the Lima team for all of the good work that they did over the last 6 years to keep the institution viable, both here and abroad. He encouraged the workforce to continue to do the work at hand. Earlier, while welcoming the Lima boss, the principal director for administrations and legal services, Councillor Nyang Benito, encouraged the staff to continue working diligently while awaiting the new commissioner's strategic directions and guidance. Sir, this team is ready to work with you. We we are a responsible and skilled team waiting to work assiduously to ensure the accomplishment of your vision, Councillor Benito said. In remarks, the officers in charge and Deputy Commissioner for Financial Affairs, Emmanuel M. Reeves, recognized and expressed his profound thanks and appreciation to the technical and administrative staff for their support during the transitional period. While welcoming Commissioner Laird, Deputy Commissioner Reeves declared the affairs at Lima good and averred that the Commissioner Laird has a talented and professional and dedicated staff to work with. He wants to personally welcome you, and we will follow your lead to ensure that this program and our national heritage remain vital, the Deputy Commissioner said. With this being said, this is how we move over to another headlines on the Hot Pepper newspaper. Representative Goswa goes water with Representative Tikwat over alleged disinformation. Representative Goswa goes water with Representative Tikwat over alleged disinformation. The office of Grand Bassa County District 5 Representative Thomas Elzana Goswa has frowned at a recent statement made by Riverside County District 1 Representative Stevie Tikwat, attributing the poor condition of the stretch of Lefted Road that passes through the electoral District 5 up to the Timbo River Bridge, demarcating Grand Basses and Riverside to the marking of Representative Goswa, Mersic, and Panambrex. According to a press statement from the office of Representative Goswa, the statement made by his colleague from Riverside County is untrue, expressing regret over the decision by the people of Riverside County to repose confidence in a man who appears to lack the elementary understanding of what it actually takes to be a lawmaker and the responsibilities. The statement said, instead of relying on the wisdom of experienced legislature to broaden his seemingly narrow perspective of the function and duties of a representative, the Representative Tikwa dabbles in catchphrase and utter confusion has gotten lost in his journey to nowhere. According to the statement from the office of Representative Goswa, Representative Tikwa needs to be reminded that the road being mentioned is not a feeder road, but a major highway whose maintenance cost is estimated in the millions and cannot be done by an individual, let alone a lawmaker. It is also important to stress that such work do not form part of the responsibilities of a lawmaker, but oversight can be used to enhance periodic maintenance that could lead to subsequent pavement. In furtherance, the statement noted that during the past 6 years of the CDC-led government, the Tikwa supported Representative Goswa became one of the signatories that signed onto the Elton and Iboma financing agreement, pointing out that he did so with a patriotic sense of reasoning against the fact that he wanted the road being referenced to be rehabilitated to the convenience of his people. Unfortunately, the loan agreement turned to be undeserving scheme against only the people of Grand Bassa County, but Riverside and all of the southeastern counties combined. The office has been made to understand that the plans are on a way to engineer a political fight in 2029 to support a candidate of his choice. How is it to a phantom that the rationale of a man wanting to orchestrate a political war against another person in a different county when his work has so far not been made at least of impression to the people he represents? One could think that a man of such people standing who endeavored into solidify his ground in his constituency and set the stage to for his re-election since he is yet a legislative rookie and none of them indulging into fruitless venture that could potentially jeopardize his chances, the statement added. The statement further noted Representative Stevie Stikwa needs to know what the consultations are being made held at the Ministry of Public Works on the manners and forms it intends to proceed with road maintenance contract to which the Public Procurement and Concession Commission has issued no objections. The Office of Representative Goswai has gotten strong assurance from the minister that the road has been captured as a major priority under President Bwaka's 100-day deliverable. When this is achieved, we shall take the credit as the government and not as an individual. However, the people of District 5, Grand Bassa County at large can rest assured that their lawmakers, senators, and representatives alike are working out modalities to ensure that the current government prioritizes road in the county. In the same vein, Honorable Goswai shall continue his engagement with companies operating in the corridor to contribute to road maintenance works, as he has done before, to alleviate the hurdles citizens endure while commuting through the route. The press statement imitated. With this being said, this is how we would love to entertain a short break. When we come back, we give you the full happenings relative to all of the two major papers, that is the Daily Observer and the New Dawn newspaper. So let's take a short break.
Hello dear, my name is K. Lyndon Togba. I'm in search of a platform where I can get credible information of our daily happenings in Liberia and the world at large.
Hello, Lyndon Togba. My name is Perfina Korishpa. Haven't you heard about Focal Online TV?
You say Focal Online TV?
Focal Online TV is located within a Tobo village community along the Japanese highway.
Tell me more about the platform.
This platform, called Focal Online TV Daily Edition of Inside the Print Media, does not encourage any form of dialogue between the viewers and the presenters.
Oh, you mean nobody calling there?
No, you can't call on a show. Let me talking out like with no calling there. So all you can do is you will listen to the news, and they can also encourage you to buy the newspaper to listen to the news in details.
But do you do viewer recognition at times?
Oh yes, we do viewer recognition. When you are watching, we notify you, and sometimes we even appreciate you on a show, telling you thank you for always following us. We also encourage you to share the live stream, because the more you share the live stream, we transform and we transition ourselves as a broadcast team as well.
Wow. So when can I better get this program you are talking about?
This program is aired every Monday to Friday at 10 a.m. to 10:45. The program runs for 45 minutes.
Wow.
And guess what?
Wow.
We bring you hot stories of our trending situation within our country, Liberia. Imagine hearing stories from Hot Pepper newspaper, from the Daily Observer newspaper, from Front Page Africa. Are you a lover of Front Page Africa?
Oh yes, I'm a lover of
Front Page Africa, and the Women Voices, and a lot more. Not forgetting international news, BBC,
wow.
CNN, ABC News. We bring you headlines from those standpoints.
Wow, that is very, very, very amazing.
So we say, join us every day on the daily edition of Inside the Print Media at 10 a.m. with the headlines of top stories in our country and the world at large on Focal Online TV.
Okay, folks, welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Let's go over to Daily Observer newspaper. Supreme Court to hear EPA's 10-year case today. Supreme Court to hear EPA 10-year case today. The Supreme Court is expected today, Tuesday, March 26, to begin proceeding into an appeal filed by former Executive Director of the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, Wilson Tappet, and the government of Liberia over the latter's decision to terminate his service at the agency despite reportedly having a year's a few years to end his tenure. Tape is challenging President Bouakar's decision to nominate Dr. Emmanuel Ure Yapaola as an acting director, while him Tapa has 7 years as has not elapsed. However, beyond the decision that is being challenged, there are issues and controversies and even contradiction in the entire matter. With the complexity of the November 26, 2000 Act of the EPA without prejudice to its amendment, there were bones to some section of the required interpretation by the justices of the highest court to put the matter to rest. One such is the provision which relates to the act creating the executive director being equivalent to a tenure position, section 16, executive director part 3, organizations and administration of the agency, section 16, the executive director. There shall be an executive director who is a person with a wide environmental knowledge and experience, recognized comments to a sustainable management of the environment appointed by the president from a list of 3 names recommended by the council, except that the president may appoint an interim executive director pending the formation of the council. The executive director shall serve for 7 years and shall be eligible for reappointment, except that there shall be appointed in interim executive director. The executive director shall have security of tenure, but shall be ceased to hold office if he or she resign, is found guilty of a gross misconduct on the advice of the board and other coordinators who supersede the supervision of the code of conduct. It is unable to discharge the function of his office for health reasons. But Tape has argued that he was appointed by President George Weah on October 2020 to serve as executive director, which is a 7-year tenure position according to the act that created the EPA. Tape alleges that without regard to the EPA Act, President Bouakar nominated Dr. Yapaola to replace him. The invite to EPA is now soliciting the involvement of the highest court to complete his remaining years under the Bouakar's administration. Interestingly, Professor Tape actively participated in the 2023 presidential and general elections campaign for President George Weah re-election, which many consider violation of the 2014 National Code of Conduct, which could justify a replacement, but he is seeking the backing of the court. In a counter-argument, Yapaola alleges that Tape's interpretation of the EPA Act is flawed and has contributed to his misconception that he has given tenure by the President Weah. Yapaola also argued that the EPA Act requires that the president shall only appoint an executive director after the recommendation of the Policy Council, which submit to him a list of 3 names from which he shall choose one. He noted that according to Section 16 of the EPA Act, the president has the authority to appoint an interim executive director pending the consultation of the Policy Council. He further argued that only correction required to be provided in the fact that Tape, as an interim acting executive director, cannot illegally continue to be holding himself to the public as an tenure executive director since the agency to act as an executive director expired on January 2024 with the inauguration of President Joseph Newman Bouacar. He said when he was appointed interim executive director by President Bouacar, in keeping with the act, Tape could not have legally been in office as he was deemed resigned as noon on Monday, January 22nd, 2024, when President Bouacar was sworn into office. According to Yapaola, Tape violated Section 9, non-tenure presidential appointee of Executive Order 123, dated November 22nd, 2023, by President George Weah, informing all non-tenure presidential appointees to deem themselves resigned as of the date of the inauguration. Yapaola argued that it was based on Executive Order 123 that most senior civil servants at the EPA assumed leadership of the agency following the inauguration of President Bouacar. These are some These are the issues justices are expected to consider during the proceeding. With this being said, this is how we move over strictly to the New Dawn newspaper, where we have Liberia doesn't need a war crime court. And who is making this statement? Ex-Senator Komen B. Wise. Liberia doesn't need a war and economic crimes court. And let's see what he has to say. Our Liberia doesn't need a war crimes court. Ex-Senator Komen B. Wise. A debate for establishing a war and economic crime court for Liberia heats up. The former senator proposes a South African-style Truth and Reconciliation Commission that he believes could bring national healing. Former Senator Komen B. Wise says Liberia does not need a war crime court, but rather a South African style of truth and reconciliation. He is vehemently opposed to the calls for the establishment of war crimes court for Liberia because such calls run contrary to the comprehensive peace accord signed in Accra, Ghana by the Liberian warring factions in 2003. Senator Wise, an elderly statement and a stalwart of the now ruling Unity Party, explains that witnesses, including Liberians and international signatories to the Comprehensive Peace Agreement, assure warring factions in the entire world that only a South African type of truth and reconciliation was necessary for the country. Speaking to reporters in Monrovia, Senator Wise notes that August this year marked exactly 21 years since the peace accord was signed in Ghana. So there is no reason why people should demand the establishment of war and economic crime court. On March 5, 2024, about 42 out of 73 members of the House of Representatives endorsed a resolution for the establishment of a war and economic crime court for Liberia to prosecute perpetrators of the 14-year civil conflict. The actions coincided with the visit of the U.S. Ambassador at Large for Global Criminal Justice Ben Van Schaik, who has met with Liberian legislators, including sponsor of the proposed legislation. The legislation has been forwarded to the Senate for its action. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Jay Fanatikofa, has dismissed report that the court will be seated in Ghana. But reacting to the House's recent decision, the former senator points out that in the CPA, one of the issues they debated in session for a longer time was whether or not there should be a war crime court set up in Liberia or the alternative, which is truth and reconciliation. According to him, the agreement set forth during the peace agreement gave rise to the Truth Reconciliation Commission, adding that it was agreed upon that the TRC should be established to provide a forum to address impunity issues. He says such a forum provided an opportunity for both victims and perpetrators of human rights violation to share their experience, as was agreed instead of the war crime code. Mr. Wee said, we shouldn't do anything that would disrupt what was agreed and which has worked over so for 21 years. He knows that what appears to be a problem now is something that happened several years back, including the coup d'etat of 1980, which subsequently led to the brutal civil war, are still manifesting. He narrates that the reoccurrence of those things means there should be a mechanism to put in place to ensure that those things that appear to be re-emerging will stop. Adding that there are already courts in the country that say if you murder anyone, you will be tried. And this is exactly what those courts have been doing. The aging Liberian progressive maintains that Liberia does not need a war crime court to prosecute all massacres and deaths that have taken place in the last 6 years or more, not even require such a court. Rather, he stresses the need to investigate how auditors were killed, saying you can't claim those people have so-called accident for which some jumped over the window or found dead in their vehicle. He expresses frustration that there has been no proper investigation since those incidents, and there are things that need to be done instead of the establishment of the War and Economic Crime Code. So, with this being said, this is how we would love to conclude all of the major news presentation of the day. So let's recognize those who are following. Mohammed Amadou Kurman said, following from Battery Factory community, resident of Battery Factory community, said following from my comfort zone. And thanks to all of you who have been closely following our conversation. Many thanks to you. And this is how we choose to conclude on this news presentation. My name is K. Lyndon Chopa. I have been the lone news presenter for today.